I was stuck when I read, and I've known this for a while, that the topic this month is law, because the word law didn't sound, and really doesn't sound, very spiritual to me. I think of laws that change, laws that are voted in by our government, and then a new administration comes in and those laws change, or laws that are enacted and then we see the impact of that law, and then laws are made in order to deal with the impact of those laws. And I also understand laws to be a vision that's set forth to live our purpose, the mission of an organization. There are bylaws in different businesses, in nonprofits. There are bylaws for New Thought Spiritual Center of Eastern Long Island. And I texted or emailed Nick one day, I think it was last week or the week before, and said, just want to make sure this is about spiritual laws, this topic of law. And I think spiritual laws really capture what the essence and what the true meaning of law is. It's something that's unchangeable. And it's actually something that's invisible. It's the words, it's the idea. And I understand spiritual law now as that is what operates beneath all matter, beneath all relationships. And so what I'd like to share with you for a few minutes, without going into a lot of detail about them, are the 12 spiritual laws. And then, okay, these are the laws. What conditions do I place on the laws in my daily life? What meaning do I give to the laws? And how do I live them in my life? And so I'm not even going to start with the first one. I'm just going to say something about the law of attraction, because in recent years, the past 15 years or so, 20 years, that is a spiritual law that has gotten a lot of attention. The movie The Secret, those of you who saw What the Bleep, those are movies that demonstrate through their stories spiritual law. But truly, to capture the essence and to put into practice and really know how to use the tool of the law of attraction, it requires an awareness of what the other 11 laws are. And so the first one, and it was mentioned in the opening prayer, is the law of divine oneness. We are one. I think many of you have heard me say this before. It looks like we're separated. There's space between us. But I exhale, and you walk by, or I'm facing you, you capture some of my exhale. You capture the vibe from that exhalation. And so in the understanding that we are one, we can see that sometimes it's so tiny, but that spark of the divine in others, independent, and this is the part that's sometimes really difficult, independent of their words, their actions, and even their beliefs. This knowing that we are all connected. The second law is the law of vibration. And the law of vibration is that everything is energy. And I think what's so exciting about the time that we live in is now science is confirming the spiritual laws that at times had been secret. In secret mystery schools, the laws would be shared. But it was thought that they were too powerful to simply offer them to the general public. That's changing. The next law is the law of inspired action. And inspired action means that there is an alignment in our body, mind, and spirit with the actions we take. And if you've ever had the experience of somebody asking you to do a favor, and you really want to say no for whatever reason, but you say yes because you were taught to be helpful, that is not inspired action. That is doing what you think you should be doing to be a good person, when the reality is, I think we're the best we can each be when we're true to the message of our heart, and when we allow our heart to inform our mind, which then leads us to action. The fourth law, spiritual law, is the law of correspondence. And the law of correspondence, this is what I really love. It's that our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. So our thoughts create the eyeglasses or the filters through which we experience the world, through which we make decisions about people. And where does that come from? That comes from the beliefs that we have. And where do we learn those? From our family members, from the media, from friends, from people who we think are smarter, more knowledgeable than we are. We take what they say as truth. And it may be the truth for us. But it's important not to take it that way because that person has said it. It's important to take it as truth only if it resonates with us in a way that has our heart, as in the song, the opening song that we sang this morning, swung right open. Number 5, the law of cause and effect. Now, my guess is that everyone in here has heard the word karma. That's what the law of cause and effective. It's what you reap is what you sow. So the seeds that we plant in consciousness within our beings are what we're going to see manifest in the world. I mean, can you hear in this how much power we have as co-creators when we use these laws, when we're aware that they're laws? It really, if you look at the spiritual foundations of all religions, you find the golden rule. The golden rule is do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And if you look deeper into the spiritual foundations, you find there is some version of these laws, even though they may be given different names. Number 6 is the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is simply like attracts like. So if you are using the law of attraction, you must magnetize in your being. You must have the feelings that you would have if your desire had come to pass. It's not, oh, I'll feel good when I'm in that new relationship. I'll feel good when I have that job. I'll feel good when my bank account is this number. I'll feel good when I have this, when I weigh this weight. It's the exact opposite. It's the ability to answer the question, what do I want? And not what do I want that will make the world see me as a smarter, more important, more valuable person. But what do I want as an expression of my purpose and my passion? The true gift that I'm here to offer and deliver. And then, so you know what you want, and frequently that's the most difficult question to answer. Once you know what you want, you now have to be the energy of having already received it, even though you don't see it yet. And there are many of us who've operated, who've made a law for us, I'll believe it when I see it. The spiritual law is, I'll see it when I am vibrating at the energetic vibration to receive with faith that my prayers, my thoughts are being responded to. The next one is called the law of compensation. And the law of compensation is you get what you give. So I may give to you, and I may not receive back from you for whatever reasons, but I can trust that I will receive from some source. And sometimes, because we get lost in the idea that I have to direct and control everything myself, we have a very, very narrow vision of how I can receive. And so this law is the trusting, the faith that if I give, already it's coming back to me. You know, it's like the story, some of you may be familiar with this story. There was a flood, and there was a man on the roof of his house, and he said a prayer, you know, God, save me. And so a helicopter flew by and sent down a rope, but he just let it go by. A boat came by and said, oh, come in. Didn't go in the boat. And a few other things like that occurred, and he wound up drowning. And he gets to the pearly gates, and he said, what happened? I was praying. You didn't take care of me. And God said, I sent you a helicopter. I sent you a boat. And, you know, we have an idea that there's just a very, very narrow path about how our dreams, our purpose, our passion can come to life. And so this law is, it's already happening. It's just we have to allow it. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. And that is, energy is in constant motion. As we sit here now, energy is moving in our bodies. Our words carry an energy. And this particular law is a reminder that energy that we give focus to eventually manifests. So if you're talking over and over and over and over and over and over again and believing without a shadow of a doubt that things don't work out for you, that no matter what you do, you can't get it right, all of these laws will support you with a resounding yes. These laws work on our thoughts, work with our thoughts. Our thoughts are actually, in a sense, ruled by these laws. Whether we're focusing on uplifting, loving, wonderful, joyful things in our life, or if we're focusing on fear and lack and isolation and separation. These are universal laws. The next one is the law of relativity. I really like this one. It's what is. There's no good, there's no bad, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's simply what has occurred. How often have you been wounded by someone saying something or someone doing something, and all you do is talk about it and what happened and the story, and then the person you tell the story adds to it because they had a similar experience with the same person, and now this has blown up, when what is what is simply what occurred, what happened. Not the motivation, not why, not about that person's childhood had this happen, but what is. And based on what is, where do you want to go from there? The next one is the law of polarity. and that is all things have opposites. So the sun rises and it sets. The moon rises and it sets. Everything has an opposite. And so our work, and what I mean by work is where we focus our energy. Our work is to pay attention to which direction am I being pulled in? Am I being pulled in by my thoughts? Am I being pulled in by my programming? And the next one is the law of rhythm. And what's the law of rhythm? There's a season for everything. You know, we see it it's winter here now. It's going to go into spring. And then it's going to go into summer. And then it's going to go into autumn. And then it's going to start all over again. You know, if anybody in here, and I'm sure there are many of you, well, I certainly know Nick, you plant a garden, you plant a seed, you put it in the ground. If you go out the next day and you're annoyed because it's not growing yet, it's not the seed's problem. It's really your problem for not having the understanding that time is part of the process of manifestation occurring. And the final law is the law of gender, which is that all things have both masculine and feminine energy in them. That energy of that masculine energy, of that single-pointed focus that can move to action and get things done in the world. That feminine energy, which is receptive and is constantly generating ideas. And that combination of that generation of ideas and nurturing those ideas in the invisible, visible on the inside realm, and then moved into action with that masculine energy that's so focused on helping the manifestation through inspired action. And so these are the 12 laws. They're governing our life and the lives of everyone on this planet. So the challenge becomes, do you place conditions on these laws? Do you believe in these laws for your career, but not in terms of relationships? Do you believe these laws in terms of relationships in your life, but not in terms of abundance, financial abundance in your life? So how can you surrender to live these laws, to use these laws? And I think that one of the things that it requires is it requires a deep knowing that we are co-creative partners with this energy. God, the loving energy of the universe, the great mystery, all that is. That is our partner. And our job is to listen to the wisdom within, express our desires from the listening, and then give it up. Give it to our co-creative partner. And so, I certainly need reminders. And so, I'm pleased to say that I continue to find reminders that I haven't used before. So these are charms. And the charm that I chose to give out today is a symbol for the vibration Om. Now, I know there are many yoga teachers here. So there are many people who can probably give you a more in-depth description of what that is. But I'm going to make it very simple. There is the belief that Om is the original sound of creation. And so I give these out to you today as a reminder that you live we live, each one of us, in the vibration of creation. We are creating at every single moment. And it's a co-creative process. And what are we co-creating with? We're co-creating with these laws, this energy, these, I was thinking about it this morning, I still don't have the word for it. I imagine more than one person in here knows the word, but it's what you call what's going on in our computers underneath it all. I suppose it's the operating system. Whoever knew the words in here, thank you. That works for me. That operating system is one in which there are no changes. This is the way it is. We are energy. We are co-creators. And it is up to each one of us to become familiar with, when do I put myself in the driver's seat, and when do I allow there to be a dance with my co-creative partner? And so I ask that throughout the rest of the day, simply with that charm, endow that charm with what it is you want it to serve as a reminder for. And I certainly hope somewhere in there, the spiritual laws are what you're choosing, some version of them, so you will know more deeply than you have ever known before that each one of us is here for a purpose. Ultimately, the purpose is love, and that we are supported by invisible laws that are constantly saying yes to whatever we think, charged with emotional energy, spoken of with authority, and acted on with conviction, with faith. Thank you. Yeah.